Welcome to Friends and Fiction. 4 New York Times bestselling authors, endless stories. Novelists Mary Kay Andrews, Kristen Harmel, Kristy Woodson Harvey, and Patty Callahan Henry are 4 longtime friends with more than 70 published books between them. Together, they host Friends and Fiction, with author interviews and fascinating insider talk about publishing and writing, to highlight and support independent bookstores. They discuss the books they've written, the books they're reading now, and the art of storytelling. If you love books and you're curious about the writing world, you're in the right place.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Friends and Fiction. I'm Kristy Woodson Harvey.
I'm Mary Kay Andrews.
And this is Friends and Fiction. We are 4 New York Times bestselling authors who gather every week. We pull back the curtain on the writing life and talk about the books you'll cancel your plans to read.
In addition to this web show, we have a Facebook group of more than 340,000 members, a YouTube channel, a podcast, an Instagram feed, a separate book club, and a killer newsletter on Substack. We are a book community like no other.
We love the story behind the story and talking about the moment when a book grabs you and won't let go. And we are here tonight, just like we have been every Wednesday night for the past 6 years, to do just that. You can find out more about us and all we have to offer at friendsandfiction.com.
And tonight we have the immense pleasure of going behind the pages of the new novel, Dolly All the Time, with author Annabel Monaghan.
I know she likely needs no introduction here, especially on this page, but we are gonna give it a go anyway. Annabel is the New York Times bestselling and Library Reads Hall of Fame author of It's a Love Story, Summer Romance, Same Time Next Summer, and Nora Goes Off Script. She is also the author of 2 novels for young adults, A Girl Named Digit and Double Digit, as well as Does This Volvo Make My Butt Look Big?, a collection of essays based on her column that appeared in the Huffington Post, The Week, and the Rye Record. Her novels have been translated into 23 languages.
Annabel has a BA in English from Duke University and an MBA in finance from the Wharton School. Wharton School? I can never say it.
Yeah.
Wharton School at the University of Pennsylvania, like me. She hosts an author series called Friends with Words and spent several years on the novel writing faculty at the Writing Institute at Sarah Lawrence College. She lives in Florida and Connecticut with her family.
Her new novel, Dolly All the Time, was just released on May 26th, and the romance follows a single mother who's offered a pretty woman type deal that's too good to refuse.
Yeah, but before we get into Dolly All the Time, there are a couple housekeeping items we got to take care of. Among all the amazing things we do at Friends and Fiction, we want to make sure you are not missing out on our newsletter on Substack. There's some incredible content there, including an exclusive bonus question and answer this week with Annabel. And just to name a few, recently we've also run exclusive to our Substack interviews with Elizabeth Berg, which Ron did on video, with Sally Hepworth, Stephen Rowley, and Laurie Gilmore, whose Dream Harbor romance series has taken the book world by storm. You do not want to miss out on all this amazing extra content, so make sure you're subscribed.
And you definitely do not want to forget about the Friends of Fiction 2026 subscription box, available exclusively through Oxford Exchange. Sign up for that one for the all-in-one price, and the bookstore will send you MKA's new book, my new book, and Kristen's new title as soon as it releases in July. And each autographed book comes with a special exclusive Friends of Fiction branded gift available only with this package, which I will tell you, this year, the first one is this little jute tote, and it has that pretty like paint F and F lettering on it. And I saw so many people on tour coming in with their little summer state of mind and their little F and F jute tote, and it made me so happy. So visit Oxford Exchange to get yours while supplies last.
Okay, let's dig in. Sean, can you bring Annabel on?
Hello, guys.
Hello, Annabel.
Yeah, welcome to Friends and Fiction. We're
Thank
so
you.
excited that
For
you're
having me back.
here.
Yeah, we're not going to waste any time. So, Annabel, tell us what this book is about, and then, what's it really about?
So this book is about Dolly Brick, who is a single mom. She has a full-time job and 3 side hustles. She is everybody's emergency contact, including her aging father and her disabled brother. And she is called back to her hometown of Whitfield, Rhode Island, which I made up. and because there's an emergency with her family. And she falls into a fake dating situation with Stuart Whitfield himself, the millionaire heir to all the things. And they form sort of a, like you said, a Pretty Woman situation. It's a fake dating situation. And she needs a new roof and he needs a reality adjustment. And that's the story flows from there. What it's really about, is the various ways that people can have the weight of the world on their shoulders. The heir to a great legacy has the weight of the world on his shoulders because he doesn't want it to fail. A single mother taking care of literally every single person in her orbit has the weight of the world on her shoulders. It's about caretakers. It's about making room in your life to put yourself on your own to-do list and figuring out how to do that.
Mhm. Well, we loved this book so much, as we told you backstage. And Dolly is just such a relatable, fully developed character. I mean, she's kind of all of us in some ways. She's juggling so many balls. She's the family crisis manager. She's human resources. She's the mom, a daughter, not to mention, all these side hustles she has going on. So, when you were thinking about Dolly and you were thinking about this novel, was she a character that kind of came to you fully formed? Did she evolve as things went on? Like, how did you create this really amazing character?
I loved Dolly. It took me like 4 drafts to get to know Dolly as I was writing, but that's how it is with me. It's like the first draft is like, is there a book here? But I knew she was going to be a single mother. I knew she was going to be a doer, and definitely that person in the family. I don't know if you guys have this person in your family who just like does all the things. And then I just kept piling on. I also wonder, does everyone think they're the person in the family who does all the things?
I don't think so. I think if you asked anyone in my family or my husband's family, who does all the things in your family, I think they would say.
I'm
pretty sure.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah. There's a lot of those moments where everyone turns to look at me and I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. No, come for Thanksgiving at 4:00. That'll be great. Again. Just like last year. Yes.
So I do it to ourselves, right?
Well, so that's sort of the point of the book. It's like she is the doer. She's everybody's go-to. But at some point, if you don't ever ask anybody else to step up, they don't even know how to step up or how to help. They feel sort of isolated. So I kept piling things on Dolly until I saw who she was. And I was sort of surprised by the way she does all this out of love. She never really comes across as a victim. She really wants to be this person for everybody and to make everything right.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's really relatable too, because I think if you are that person, you do want to do it. You don't want to need help. You don't want to have to ask anyone. And I thought in that way, here we can talk about this. I don't think we are, but I thought her relationship with her sister was very interesting. So I won't say any more about that because I don't really want it to be a spoiler, but I thought that was a really interesting relationship, and the way that she's kind of navigating that is.
Yeah. Well, I don't think this is a spoiler, but like, would it kill you to let somebody bring a pie to Thanksgiving?
Right.
Like, that's the thing that Dolly wrestles with. It's like, if you are the most competent person in your family, doesn't mean you can't just give somebody else a chance.
Right.
So that's something she has to fix by the end of the book.
Yeah.
Okay. And then we've got Stuart, Dolly's fake boyfriend. Was there an inspiration for this stern, vulnerable, type A human being?
Yeah, there was. Well, there's a couple of inspirations. I actually started with Stuart in this story. I did not start with Dolly.
Interesting.
I know. Isn't that weird? I've never done that before because I'm never really that interested in the guy in a story.
It's really well drawn, though. Like, I think that track, they both are, but like he's not just like the romantic hero,
Yeah, no, he's got a lot going on. So the way Stuart came up is I just wanted to write a book in Newport. For no reason, really. I'd just been there on book tour, been to Rhode Island, and I thought that would be fun. So my husband and I went to Rhode Island. We went to Newport, And we walked the cliffs and we went on all the mansion tours. And the mansion tours, like all of them, begin with the great wealth was created by this generation. And, they brought this fireplace from Belgium or whatever. And then at the end of the tour, they say, and then in this particular generation, it all kind of went to hell. And now it's a museum.
Right.
And I left there thinking, that last generation must have felt so much pressure to keep it going, to keep the legacy going, to keep the money going. I don't even understand how that all worked. Like they had to have the weight of the world on their shoulders. And I left there thinking, it's funny how I also have the weight of the world on my shoulders, just with my regular life and my family and my community, whatever. But it really started with Stuart. And I thought, how would a guy like that feel just having all that pressure on him?
Well, I really liked him. I thought he was, you did a really good job with him because he could have been like a pretty one-dimensional. I mean, honestly, he could have been very one-dimensional and the book still would have worked, And so I think the fact that you dug into him really just made it an even, kind of richer story for us. So, okay. So we've mentioned this a little bit, but the fake dating trope. I mean, it's such a beloved plot device in the romance and the rom-com world. But you really kind of gave us a fresh take on it. So, was that fun to do? And what
The best.
It sounded like, it seemed really fun. And then how did you decide? Like, did you go in knowing, okay, I'm going to use this, or did it just come to you? Did it evolve? I guess what I'm really asking here is, are you a plotter or a pantser?
I am like my whole life. I'm a pantser. Like, I don't know what's going on. I am just like, I don't plot anything, but I knew I had Stuart, and then I sort of wandered into Newport and I saw the people who live in Newport full time, like working at the fish store, that's like a real life.
Yeah.
And I wanted to bring those two people together. And I thought, oh, fake dating. I love to read fake dating. I love to watch it in a movie. It is really the only trope that really gets me going. And I had never written it before. And I thought I would like to put them in a fake dating situation. And the thing that's so fun about it as a reader and as a writer is there's always that moment where they touch and they're forced to touch, just to keep the ruse going. But then that touch has all this chemistry and information in it that it's, I love it. It's absurd and I love it.
Yeah, I just watched the other day The Proposal again. I hadn't seen it in so long.
The best.
So good.
I mean, yeah, and it sort of brings back that whole, the fake dating trope. There's a reason it's so popular.
Yeah.
It's because it's irresistible.
It is. And what about when first there's the part where he's lying on the floor because they can't share the bed, but then they start singing that song together?
Oh God, yeah. What song do they sing? I can't even remember, and I just saw it.
It's as soon as we get off of this, I'm going to remember. But it's so cute the way they sing it, and then of course this happens to me all the time. She walks out of the bathroom and then falls on top of him naked.
Yeah. That happens to me a lot too,
right? I mean, that's
as one does.
Fake dating. It's like there's not one thing in a fake dating story that ever happens to anyone ever. But there it is.
Okay, but I just have to say this. Okay, so I think what you did differently in this fake dating that I really liked is I feel like even in The Proposal, right? There's such a huge power dynamic at play, and there should be here. But somehow from the very beginning, even though she doesn't and she shouldn't, Dolly kind of takes that upper hand. I mean, or maybe I shouldn't even say upper hand, but she's certainly an equal in this situation. Like, she doesn't sit back and be like, okay, well, what's he going to do? Like, she really kind of takes the reins. And I love that about her. Because I don't think we see that much.
Thank you. I'm going to take that as a really big compliment because I really thought about that when I was writing. The thing that bothers me about those kind of stories is class stuff and the way it makes the person without all the money seem sort of like, oh, wow, I've never been to a restaurant before. Like, or like she's going to be like so blown away by the fancy chicken or whatever it is. I didn't want any of that. I wanted Stuart to be sort of unnerved by how confident Dolly is in her skin. And the reason she's so confident is she has no time not to be.
Right.
Right? Like she has to do everything for everybody, and she's got her life kind of buckled down. So I didn't want that sort of awe feeling from her for Stuart.
Well, and just the fact that she's proud of who she is. Like she doesn't have to go to his family and pretend that, she isn't who she is. Like she's very honest about it, in the fakeness of their situation. She's still really honest and clear about who it is that she is.
And I love that she lets him know, I know how to fix a bike and you do not. Or I know how to fix a flat tire and you do not.
Exactly.
And she doesn't let him forget that.
No, she knows how to do he doesn't know how to do anything.
Which we learn.
Yeah. I just have to say it. She is Dolly all the time. That is sort of where the title came from. The title came out of I think my editor came up with the title, and she emailed it to me and I read it and I like the mouth feel of those words. Dolly all the time feels good. Then I was like, she really is she's Dolly all the time.
Can I tell you something really funny? I didn't realize this until I actually think a reader told me this. I have a chapter title in Summer State of Mind that's Tilly all the time. And it's like a line. And she's like, now I'm Tilly. I was like, oh my God, there's always like something in your books. Do you remember when we both did the oatmeal cookies and we were like, oh, we should talk about the oatmeal cookie recipe? There's always like one tiny touch point that I'm like, Annabelle and I are living like parallel lives. Like there's something that we're doing. Isn't that funny? I know. Yes. I'm like, oh my God, that's so crazy. But it's a good mouth feel to it.
Yeah. Tilly, I love Tilly all the time.
Well, Dolly all the time.
It's the double consonants, I believe.
Anyway.
They roll. And I love anything that rolls, like Tilly all the time, Dolly all the time.
Do you guys do your own titles? Are you come up with your own titles? Because I never do. My titles that I suggest are always terrible and thrown out immediately.
Sometimes yes, sometimes no. This one was Summer State of Mind was really, really hard. We just could not. I had several that I really liked, and there's actually a community theater performance of Hello Dolly in this book, and I wanted to nod to that, and like no one was into that. Like no one was having that, and so I have a Peachtree Bluff book coming out in the fall, and I had tentatively titled it Southern State of Mind. And so I threw that out because I was like, well, I can figure out something else for that. But and they liked that. And they were like, what about Summer State of Mind? But then somebody told me on tour that I should have called it Carolina State of Mind. And I'm like, oh, that would have been really good.
God, that's so annoying.
Sometimes I write my headlines, my titles, and sometimes my editor comes up with them. But when I was a newspaper reporter, I used to write headline suggestions at the top of my stories to give myself to remind myself this is what this story is. And also so that the copy desk wouldn't put something stupid on it. But so for Road Trip, I was telling my editor about my idea, and we were having lunch together and with my agent, she goes, okay, we're calling it Road Trip. And I said, oh, okay. But with Summers at the Saint, it was kind of a back and forth situation.
Yeah.
And so
they didn't love that title, did they?
What, Summers at the Saint? I can't remember. We went back and forth. My first book I did with them, I had changed publishers and I had a new editor who was actually Jennifer Enderlin is the president of St. Martin's. She's my publisher. And the first meeting I had with her, she had very, very strong ideas about what she wanted me to write. And she said, and we're going to call it Sea Change. And I said, I don't know what we're going to call it. We're not calling it that. That sounds like a menopause novel.
So funny. I was just thinking that. I was like, oh, the Sea Change.
No, I said, we're going to call it Summer Rental. And she's like, oh, I don't know. So we went back and forth. Finally, she said, I'm going to put it up to the sales reps and let them decide. And I said, well, of course they're going to pick whatever you said because you're their boss. She said, no, I won't tell them which one. And she called me back on Monday and she goes, oh my God, everybody hates Sea Change and they love summer rental. So yeah, it alternates back and forth, but I always have really strong opinions about my titles.
Okay, but so Annabelle, did you have a working title for this book? And if you did, do you want to share it with
Oh, I did. I was calling this Champagne Summer. So my book that was Summer Romance a couple of years ago, that was a thing she did with her mother. They toasted to a champagne summer. And so I said to my editor, I said, the next book I'm going to write is going to be called Champagne Summer, and it's going to be set up in Newport, right? Champagne, rich people. It makes so much sense. And then as I was writing it, I thought, what's going to happen with this book is that people are going to see the title Champagne Summer and think, oh, I read this one. Right? Because it's just going to remind you of the other book.
Right.
Good, because now Kristy can have it.
Great.
Right?
Yeah. So can I have that title now? Annabelle?
It's kind of a you title. I feel like you could go through your phone and you have so much content around
taps
Champagne
at this.
Summer.
Let me just tell you, Annabelle, the taps at this girl's house run hot and cold veuve.
They do.
They do.
They do.
Okay.
Yeah. It's just like, especially starting May 27th through like August 1st. It's a lot of,
Yeah.
no.
Well, no, it's yours now. We have it on.
No. I could never do that to you. It's a beautiful title. You should definitely.
I'm not going to use it.
You should use it in a few years when maybe, the other book is kind of like a distant memory.
All right, let's get back on
Sorry.
girls. I know this was a fun one to talk about.
Young ladies.
God. Yeah, ladies. Let's talk about women's friendships. Speaking about ladies, in each of your novels, Annabelle, your heroines have a ride or die. And Naomi is that friend in Dolly All the Time. And then, of course, we have the bad teacher text chain who function almost like a Greek chorus. Tell me about the importance of women's friendships in Dolly, but also in your other books.
Well, it's very important for me in storytelling because I write in the first person. So we are so much in the head of my main female character that there's nobody to call her out on her nonsense. And there's nobody she needs somebody who's going to say, oh, really? Are we talking about this again? You with the nonsense? I mean, she needs a friend to round her out in the story. And in this particular book, Dolly is she's a doer. She's practical. She's going to get things done. And her friend Naomi is just that friend who will say anything and do anything. And she's just she's a little bit wild. And she was comic relief in the story. Whenever I was a couple of drafts were a little heavy in the story. And every time Naomi walked into the room, I was like, oh, thank God, this turned back into a fun story again. So it's important for storytelling. In real life, female friendships are, the difference between you and just completely losing your mind. I think it's the most important part of our lives we can nurture.
Yeah, you should see our text chain for friends in fiction.
I bet. I can only imagine.
Well, and, I think when you find those people like Naomi, it struck me a lot that Naomi is that person for Dolly who you could really easily be jealous in this situation. You could be jealous, and she's not at all. She is like, you are doing this, and I am bringing you a better bathing suit.
Yeah, I mean, that's the kind of friend you want, a friend that has her own shop and will bring you a bikini in an emergency.
You are too hot for that faded out, loose one piece.
Yeah. No, and that's the friend you want. You're bringing up a memory for me. When my very first young adult novel came out, I was having my very first book event at my town's library, and I had a talk prepared that I spent just about 3 months preparing it. I was so just over the top about I couldn't believe this was happening. Yeah. And the day before, a friend of mine calls me and says, do you have something to wear? I said, I never thought of it. What should I wear? And she brought me over to her house and let me pick out a dress to wear to the event because she knew that I would not have thought of that.
That's so nice.
It was so nice. That's so nice. Anyways, Naomi's that kind of friend. I know you have a dumpy bathing suit. I'm on my way over.
Right. And we're not going to let you get away with that.
Yeah.
Well, one of the really like tender pieces of this novel is Dolly's younger brother, Christopher, who suffered a traumatic brain injury as a child. And we love this relationship between Dolly and Christopher. And you mentioned in the author note that you had a family inspiration for Christopher. Is that something that you would be willing to talk to us about?
Oh, of course. Yeah. So my brother, who was 10 years older than I am, he's passed now. His name was Jonathan. He had a car accident on the way home from school when he was 16, and he was in a coma for 6 weeks. He came out of that coma with just a totally different person. And I grew up with him because of the age difference. I don't really remember him before, but I was 6 when that happened. So my whole life was this second version of him, and he was the happiest guy. He read the same book every single day. He had no short-term memory, but he just had the most why is everybody so uptight kind of an energy. And he was a really, really special part of my family. When my mother passed away, he lived in California. My sister and I became sort of the administrative caretakers and emotional caretakers for him. Right. Anyways, he was a really wonderful guy, and I did not mean to write about him, but as I was writing this book, Christopher pops in on the second page, and I was like, oh, there's Jonathan. I guess we're doing this. And it's, it sort of makes the story about, the people you sign up to take care of, your children, your parents. And then there's things that happen, and there are other people that need care in your life, and you step in and you do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think what I liked about the way you drew Christopher was just very matter of fact, not let's feel sorry for him. Oh, that poor kid or that poor guy. I mean, she looks at him when Dolly first gets back home. She goes, Christopher, pants.
I know.
Every time they work in the family business is a fish house. And of course, Dolly's fixing dinner and he goes, fish, gross.
Right. That's my brother always wore pants. I feel like I need to defend his memory.
Okay.
He never walked around without pants. I don't know where that came from, but it struck me really funny.
I think it's really funny. And I think especially in you have all these sons. I feel like boys don't feel the need to wear pants or shirt or anything really for that matter.
Yes. Little boys in particular.
Yes.
Used to open the door. There'd be someone at the door, and they would just open the door completely naked.
Mm-hmm. You're like, it hasn't occurred to them that one should be clothed. They're just like a little feral in that way. And it's great.
My grandkids, especially my grandson, on hot summer nights, they would have what they call pants off, dance off. Dancing in their underpants. I mean, they were 7 and 5, but they would have the pants off, dance off.
They love it.
Okay, there is no self-respecting rom-com, as you know, Annabelle, happens without a proper meet cute. There is a great one here in Dolly. So I gotta believe you got the meet cute formula down. Would you like to share it? Although Kristy and I love a meet cute too. We love to write a meet cute.
Cute is so good.
Yeah. So my original meet cute for this story is that Dolly was at the fish store, and she was up to here in shrimp guts in a bucket, and she smelled like shrimp. And Stuart came in through the water on his boat to have lunch with his cousin. And that's where they see each other for the first time. Anyways, it was so disgusting. So it didn't fly. And then I started over again and had her help him with his tire, which was fun because it showed just their totally different personalities. But I would not say I have a formula for a meet cute. It's hard every time.
Well, you had a great meet cute in Summer Romance.
Oh, that was good. Yes, but that actually happened to me.
Now, did her dog pees on his leg? Is that what I can't remember it really?
Her dog ran over to him, lifted his leg, and peed on the guy. And this happened to me in my real life. The first day I ever had my dog, he ran over to this woman in the park. It's the last time I've ever been to the dog park also. And just lifted his leg and peed all over her foot in a flip-flop. And I'm so sorry. And I left. And then I thought, I wonder why he picked her.
Right.
Like, why do dogs do that? Why her?
And like, and was it a sign that he liked her or that he did not?
Then no, I was thinking maybe she was like a really special person. So anyways, that's why I thought of it again when I used it. I was like, that dog just went and picked that guy by peeing
Kristy,
on
do you have a favorite meet cute that you've written?
Oh, wait, you go first. I have to think for a minute.
Well, mine, I only asked because I think my favorite is from aforementioned Summer Rental, and it does have to do with pee. Sorry, all of you who are having dinner when you're watching this.
Who pees on who?
So my protagonist arrives at the summer rental and she gets there early and she walks out on the deck on the beach walkover. This book is set in the Outer Banks. And I had this experience. I got to where I was going and there was a walk over the dunes and you look out at the ocean and there was a house the houses in this part are set very close together. And I looked over and, I saw, oh, well, you could see anybody, right there. And so as soon as I started writing the book, I'm like, okay, my character gets to the house. She's, hours early. And as she's standing there appreciating the ocean, a guy walks out of the house next door in his drawers, scratches himself and proceeds to pee off the off the deck.
Mm-hmm.
And he looks at her and she looks at him. And okay, Kristy, now what's yours?
It really sounds like one of my children.
Right. Yeah. Right. Like, again, that's just a thing that boys
Could have been any of them.
Could be anyone. I love meet cutes. It's kind of one of my favorite things to write, but I have to tell you, I think Summer State of Mind could be my favorite. I mean, it's dramatic, but Mason, who's like our romantic hero, finds an abandoned baby in a dumpster and rescues her and takes her to the hospital. And Dolly is not my protagonist. My protagonist is Daisy, and Daisy intercepts them in the hospital. And that's how they meet. And she kind of instantly like calms him down. And they sort of have this like moment, even amidst this crazy, crazy thing that's going on.
And what a symbolic moment too, to meet that person with a brand new baby between you, right? It's like there's something brand new happening here. I don't know. I think that's beautiful.
I meant to do that, so I'm glad that you pointed it out. I do love that. I do.
Are we doing like English literature class here?
Yeah. Don't you love it when you'll have a really good interview on somewhere that's like very like a little more highbrow, and they ask you these questions, and you're like, yes, that is what I meant to do, and then you're like, that's great. Maybe I'll work that into my talk. Like it was.
Okay. Annabelle, do you have a favorite meet cute from any book or movie ever? Since we're talking, we all three share our meet cute love.
Mm-hmm. Meet cutes are big.
Yeah, it's going to take me a second. Can I take a second?
Yes, you can take a second. Of course. I can tell you, I did not know what a meet cute was until The Holiday. Like I'd never heard of that before. I mean, I was not a writer when that movie came out, but I'd never heard the term meet cute until.
Oh God. Well, I mean, since you bring up The Holiday, I mean, Jude Law showing up drunk in the middle of the night.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, why isn't Jude Law showing up drunk in the middle of the night at my house? That was the most adorable thing. Yes,
that whole thing. I've seen that movie like maybe 1,000 times, and I just love it every time. Like it's just, it never gets old. It's so fantastic. It's just,
yeah. No, I really loved it. There's something, I can't actually remember the scene, but I really loved the setup in Funny Story by Emily Henry, where she ends up with the ex-fiance of the guy that the girl that her fiance ran off with.
yes.
I loved the putting together of those people, but I actually don't remember the meet cute. So that's not
Yeah, I really like that too, because sometimes I feel like those are like the scorned people, and then it ends up really well for them. Yeah.
Oh, and there's a great meet cute in the Jack Nicholson. Every Nancy Meyers movie has a
Yeah.
great meet cute.
Terrific.
The one with when Diane Keaton meets Jack Nicholson.
Something's got to give.
Something's got to give. Yeah,
Or as good as it gets.
As good as it gets.
as good as it gets. Yeah.
I got
Right.
those two so confused.
Well,
And
the two of them are in both of those movies.
right.
You're right.
That's why I can't ever keep them straight.
We're not losing our minds.
It's the one where she's where she's the writer and she's crying like buckets of tears while she's riding
yeah.
that big
Yeah.
expansive ocean view from her
In the
boat.
Hamptons.
Yeah.
In the Hamptons, yeah. Anyway,
And she meets him. Literally, he's got no pants on, right? Opening, he's got her refrigerator door open.
right.
He's there for a romp with her daughter.
Which is also an awkward way to meet a guy.
Super awkward.
Extremely,
Yeah.
extremely awkward.
That's a great
Okay, well, we could talk about this all day, but Annabelle has a tour to get on to. So before we keep going, I want to remind all of you watching and listening to rush out and buy your copies of Dolly All the Time. The perfect place to do that is in the Friends and Fiction shop on bookshop.org. You'll not only be getting it at a discount, but all your purchases there support our show, our guests, and indie bookstores nationwide. For real, bookshop.org has raised an astounding $50 million for indie booksellers. So if you can't get out to an indie in person, shop there online and feel good about yourself. I do when I do it.
Yeah. Annabelle, we could hang out all afternoon, but
We're not going to.
no.
I got
I
no
think
place to go. This is
every good thing has to end. Before you go, can you tell everybody how to catch up with you on tour? And I'm so bummed you're going to be literally in my neighborhood, blocks from my house, and I'm going to be on tour. But tell us the other places where you're going to be and how our community can connect with you online.
We need to figure out our pub schedules.
Yeah.
Further, 'cause going forward, the three of us are in a line. We never.
But we never quite. It's the same with Sally Hepworth. I never get to see her when she's in the United States because it doesn't matter when I come out. We're always on tour at the same time. And it's like 2 days apart. And I've never gotten to meet her in real life.
Yeah.
That might be because we write beach books.
Do you think that's what it is?
Yeah, we need to start writing holiday books. Get out in Christmas time. So I am at annabelmonaghan.com and then /events or however that works out. But just look on Instagram, Annabel Monaghan, for all my tour dates. I'm all over the US starting now. I'm going to go to the UK in July. I'm really excited about that. This is going to be just fantastic summer. I'm so excited.
Well, it's going to be a great summer. Everybody go out, see Annabelle on tour. I can tell you as someone who just got home from tour, there's nothing that means more than having readers in that audience to support you. It is like one of the very best parts of being a writer. So
Right. And I'm speaking to all those FNF, all those Friends in Fiction faithful in Atlanta. You need to make sure you go see Annabelle when she's here in Atlanta at the Bookbird.
I can't wait to be at the Bookbird.
Yeah,
I mean, they are just on Instagram. They're the most fun people I've ever seen in my life.
They are. They really are.
it's going to be so fun. Well, Annabelle, we cannot thank you enough for joining us. It was such a pleasure speaking with you. And thanks for being on the Friends in Fiction show.
I loved it. Thank you, guys.
Okay, be sure to join us, everybody, next week when Patty and Kristen will welcome best-selling author Ann Patchett to discuss her new novel, Whistler. That show will air live on the Friends in Fiction Facebook page and YouTube channel on Wednesday, June 10th at 7 p.m. Eastern. And it'll be published to our podcast for your listening pleasure on Friday, June 12th.
Thanks to all of you out there for being with us, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to Friends and Fiction, hosted by New York Times bestselling authors Mary Kay Andrews, Patty Callahan Henry, Kristy Woodson Harvey, and Kristen Harmel. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook, subscribe to our Substack newsletter, and catch us on Facebook and YouTube, where a new episode of our show airs every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern. You can also listen to Friends in Fiction wherever you get your podcasts. Find out about all this and more at friendsandfiction.com. We're so glad you're here.